Hello everyone, if you guys are new here, my name's Liz, and if you didn't know, I have a monthly subscription box where every single month you get a craft kit sent straight to your door. This month is Halloween themed. This kit right here is the main kit that comes in box 1, box 2, and box 3. And then down here we have box number 3. I think that these are so much fun. If you like getting kits sent straight to your door every single month, new crafts to make, themed towards holidays and seasons and some everyday home decor, then you are going to love my monthly subscription box. So without further ado, if you need some help and want some inspiration on putting your kits together, let's go ahead and jump in. So this kit will come in every box that you can get on our website, box 1, 2, and 3. It comes with this kit. And then for box 2 and 3, you'll also get this 6x6 paper pad to pair with your kit. So you can use it with this, you can use it with other Halloween DIYs or whatever kind of projects that you're working on and you want to use some scrapbook paper. I'm going to start by painting a couple of my potion bottles. I took this paste from COUTURE. It's in rust, I believe, and I just mixed a little bit of water with it, and then I started painting some of my potion bottles. I didn't paint all the way in the middle for the whole thing. You don't need to, because you do have a piece that will cover up the middle portion of your potion bottle, so don't feel like you need to cover the entire thing. And then I just went up to the top of the potion bottle before the lid, or I guess the opening of the jar. And then for the second potion bottle, I did some black chalk paint, and then I also painted the spider and the bat with some black chalk paint as well. And then for the corks at the top, I used this really pretty metallic gold. I believe this is from Folk Art, and I painted the corks with that gold. Now I wanted my potion bottles to look very dingy, very worn, very old. So I'm taking a natural sponge and I'm dipping that into some of my Waverly Wax and Antique. And I'm going to go between that, the metallic gold that we used for the corks, and then some black paint, and I am just going to dab all over this until I get it as rusted and old and worn as I want. You don't have to do this, but I think that the old look just makes everything look that much spookier in my opinion. I think it turned out really nice, but there really isn't a proper way to do this. Just take your colors and just start blending. I took a little bit of the rust color, that orangey color, and went on the black. Tried to make it look like there were some rust spots on the potion bottle. So you can really play around with this as much as you want. That's the great thing about these, is you can make these look exactly the way that you want them to. Now for my other two potion bottles, I'm going to be using the paper pad to cover the fronts. So I took out this paper right here. It has the spider webs, and on the back it has the bats, which is perfect for the bat and the spider potion bottles. So I'm going to trace these out just using a pen. And one thing I am going to make sure that I do is cut off the lip at the bottom. If you put paper on that part that slides into your base, it's going to be harder for it to fit into the base. So just don't even put paper on it. It'll just be a lot easier if you cut that little tab at the bottom off. Once I have those cut out, I'm going to do the iron-on method using some Mod Podge to adhere my paper to my pieces. So I'm going to paint the Mod Podge onto my potion bottles. I will let that completely dry, and then I'll line up the paper on my potion bottle, use some parchment paper on top, and then I have my Cricut mini heat press on all the way high, and I'm going to iron that on there. It's going to reactivate that Mod Podge, reheat it up, and then you don't have any wrinkles with your paper, which I personally love. So this is a method that I pretty much always do now when I'm using Mod Podge. Again, I want the potion bottles to look really old, so I'm going to use that same method with a natural sponge. And with the other paints, the gold, the black, the antique wax, and I'm mostly going around the edges, and then I kind of work my way in from there. So I kind of dab everything off with a paper towel if I'm wanting things to be a little bit more blended. So I really just took my time with this and added paint where I wanted it as I went. Again, you don't have to worry too much about the middle because that is going to be covered up, but I just go through again with my sponge and just dab the paint on there until I'm satisfied with the way that it looks. For the fronts of all of my potion bottles, I'm going to be using the Apple Barrel Warm Buff, and I just tried to put this on as lightly as I could over the letters. If you get too much paint into each of those letters, you're not going to be able to see them very well, so I tried to focus the majority of my paint in the middle, and then as I'm going over the letters, I'm trying to do more of a dry brushing technique. If you do end up getting some paint in the letters, you can always take a pointed object like a needle and kind of scrape that paint out of there, and then you can see the letters a lot better. And then again, going to distress the pieces, make them look old with the sponge technique, just using some Waverly Wax and Antique. And I'm mostly going around all of the edges, and then I kind of do a little bit of dabbing over the entire thing, just very lightly. Whatever is remaining on the sponge at that point, I just kind of dab over the entire front. Taking that antique wax, and I will paint my rat with the wax. And then for the eyeball, I am using markers because there are very small details. So I use a white marker, a red marker, and then a brown marker for the eyes. I feel like markers work a whole lot better than trying to get super detailed with a paintbrush. That's just my personal opinion. So if you use a paint pen, I feel like that works really well. And then for the pick your own poison, I'm going in with that gold metallic on the sponge. I like the texture that the sponge gave this, so I went in with the gold, and then I did a little bit of that antique wax around the edges just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then I painted the base for the entire thing just with my Waverly chalk paint in ink. Then the last thing to do is to glue your pieces together. I personally like using the wood glue super glue that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I am just gluing all of the top pieces right in the middle of all of the potion jars or potion bottles, and then I will glue on the coordinating piece, so the rat, the spider, the eye on the coordinating potion bottle. And then you can assemble this in your base however you'd like. You can glue them to your base if you want. I personally choose not to. That way you can store it easier, and then you can move things around as you please. So this is how our kit from box 1, 2, and 3 turned out. I love this one. I love seeing it set up on top of my Halloween decor with the other potion bottles that I have. I think it looks so fun. So for box number 3, you are going to receive that first kit that we just showed along with that 6x6 paper pad. You are going to get an additional kit and 2 accessory items. This month you get a chipboard and ephemera. Here is the additional kit that you get with box number 3, this really fun haunted house. So this one does have quite a bit of detail to it with lots of fun pieces for you to paint and put together. So I'm just showing you all the pieces that come in your kit, and then along with that 6x6 paper pad, you're also going to get a chipboard piece and an ephemera that will come in box number 3. I'm going to start off by painting my house this really pretty yellow. I want to say that this is called Sunset or Sunrise. I can't remember the exact color. It's from Apple Barrel. It's one of my favorite yellows that I have in my stash. I'm going to paint my house this yellow besides that trim on the edges. So the main portion of the house at the bottom and then the 2 pieces at the side will be painted in that yellow color. And then I like gathering all the pieces that I'm going to be painting the same color. So I gathered up all the pieces that I'm going to be painting black, and I start painting those. So I'm going to paint the roof pieces black, I'm going to paint the door pieces black, and then the gate with the little pumpkin, that will be painted black as well. And then the base will also be painted black. After I've painted my bats black, I am going to go with the little window portion that has the face on it. I'm going to take a little paintbrush with some white paint, and I'm going to paint around the face. And then I'm also going to paint all my window pieces and ghosts with some white chalk paint as well. I go back in with a black paint pen, and for the face that's on those window pieces, I will just color those in with that black paint pen. Now the little trim edges on the house, I'm also going to paint those black. For my pumpkins, I just painted those orange using the rust color from COUTURE. And then for that tree, I wanted it to have a mix of colors. So I started out with that rust from COUTURE, added in some black, added in some brown, and just kind of went up the entire thing. And then the little face on the tree, I did use a black paint pen to color in the eyes and the mouth. For the headstone, I just used a gray and filled that entire thing in. Now to assemble your kit, again using that same wood glue super glue, I'm just going to start putting all the pieces together. So I started with the roof piece, lining that up, and then put the other two roof pieces on as well. Now these do have two specific sides. One has a side that has a flat edge, so just make sure that you're gluing those to the correct pieces. Your half little windows here, doesn't really matter which side they go on. Just add your glue to the back, and then you can add your windows and butt them up right next to your main roof piece. Your bigger window will go in the middle of your roof, and then you can add the base from the window right inside. Now, I did want to add some paper to this project, so with that 6x6 paper pad that's going to come with your kit, I grabbed this paper out that has just kind of, a little bit of a spooky vibe to it. It's got the gray colors and slashes. I thought it'd be fun to have this be on the inside of the door. So I just flipped this over, and then I'm going to trace the paper out and cut that out to adhere it. I used some Mod Podge, and again, I just did that iron-on method, let the Mod Podge completely dry, laid my paper down, and then ironed on top of it. Once that's stuck down, I'm going to add my first doorway piece right on top of the house, making sure that the paper is right in the middle of the doorway, and then you can add your second doorway piece that will just go right in the middle of that. You'll add your ghost that goes inside the door with the flat side, and then you can add your two windows on either side of your house. I'm going to glue on my other two ghosts. You can put these wherever you'd like on the house. And then finally, the 3 bats that also come with it. Again, you can put these anywhere that you'd like. And then your other pieces are all just going to fit within those slots on the base. You can glue these in if you'd like, but again, I find that if you don't glue them in, it's going to be easier for storage. And I grabbed a couple pieces that came from the chipboard accents that come with box number 3. I'm going to use my wood glue super glue to attach these to the house. I did one little pumpkin and then a little sign that said the Boo Crew. I just glued that right to the top of the house. And that is it for this one. I think these turned out so adorable. I love the spookiness to them for Halloween. I'm so excited for Halloween. I'm getting all of my Halloween and fall decor up right now, and I am loving all the cozy vibes and the Halloween vibes. It just makes me so happy. So this is the August Craft Club. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I will leave the links to sign up down in the description box. Remember, you only have till the end of August to sign up to get these kits. And that's it for those tutorials. I hope that they were helpful in giving you some inspiration on how you can finish your own kits. Like I just mentioned, if you want to sign up to receive these 2 kits, make sure you do it before the end of August. After August is over, those kits will no longer be available, so if you want to grab them, sign up and snag them while you can. Again, as I mentioned before, I will leave a link to sign up for our craft club down below, or you can head to moredecalanddecor.com to sign up. Don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!